This is now known around the league. And it's telling if DeWanna Bonner says she chose the Fever over the Lynx and Mercury to win next.
Minnesota Lynx fans, this one's going to sting. Coach Cheryl Reeve was confident that DeWanna Bonner was locked in, contract nearly done, press conference likely in the works. But at the last moment, Indiana Fever swooped in and stole her away. Just like that, the Lynx lost not just a key player but the centerpiece of their entire offseason strategy. And to make things worse, Bonner chose Indiana and Caitlin Clark over Minnesota. No surprise, Cheryl Reeve is not happy.
But the Lynx were there. So, to choose the Fever over them is saying something. And I think all of those players choosing the Fever said all you need to know.
Here's the thing, Bonner had been dropping clues for months. Remember when she said she wanted to win now? Or how she barely reacted when the Phoenix Mercury traded for her fiancée, Alyssa Thomas. The signs were all there, loud and clear, but Minnesota chose to overlook them. They thought they had this deal locked in, but while Cheryl Reeve was playing checkers, Bonner was playing chess.
I'm glad that this really worked out because this almost turned really ugly for the WNBA, man. You talking about Nafisa Collier being on a revenge tour. That was definitely going to be a revenge tour worth watching, man, because they were going to mop the...
This wasn't some spur-of-the-moment decision, it was a carefully planned move that had been in the works for a while. The Lynx were so sure they had Bonner that they were practically picking out her jersey number. They saw her as the key to bringing them back to championship glory, fitting perfectly alongside Nafisa Collier and Kayla McBride. The front office had already imagined victory parades rolling through downtown Minneapolis, celebrating what they believed would be their next title run. But in the end, it was all just wishful thinking.
Man, I want y'all to hear this. All 5 of last season's regular starters left during this offseason free agency. They're talking about the Connecticut Sun here, including 3 who had spent their entire careers, a collective 23 seasons with the organization. One of those players, Alyssa Thomas, sought a move to a championship contender, Phoenix, with superior facilities.
If you need proof of just how committed Minnesota was to this plan, consider this: they even explored trading for Alyssa Thomas, Bonner's fiancée, in a last-ditch effort to seal the deal. That's the basketball equivalent of buying someone a house before the first anniversary, bold, risky, and, in the end, completely unnecessary.
Phoenix also explored trading for Thomas, league sources told The Athletic, and looked at signing her fiancé and former Sun teammate DeWanna Bonner.
While Reeve and the Lynx were making their pursuit loud and obvious, Indiana took a different approach, calm, quiet, and strategic. No leaks, no flashy moves, just smart, behind-the-scenes relationship building. While Minnesota was putting on a public show, the Fever were executing a masterclass in patience and precision. They let Reeve believe she had it all locked up, only to swoop in at the perfect moment and pull off the ultimate steal.
Nonetheless, the other things or other desires or other factors, as they say, I'm pretty sure that's the key factor of why she left and why she went to the Fever instead of the Lynx.
And just like that, it was done. Bonner rejected Minnesota's offer and chose to team up with Caitlin Clark in Indiana. The Lynx were left scrambling, and Reeve was absolutely furious. Their biggest off-season move, the one they had built their entire plan around, had slipped right through their fingers, and there was nothing they could do to stop it.
Now, thinking of the Lynx, man, that would be a disgusting team if she ended up going to the Lynx, man. Can you imagine Alyssa Thomas going to the Lynx, allowing Nafisa Collier to play the 4, and then you even have Bonner there as well? Like, dog, that is...
Now, DeWanna Bonner completely outmaneuvered Cheryl Reeve and the Lynx front office, and they never saw it coming. The wildest part? She had been dropping hints for months, but Minnesota just didn't pick up on them. The signs were right there, clear as day, if only they had been paying attention.
I can't even imagine Fee at the 3, and then you have Bonner and Alyssa at the 4 and the 5. Oh my goodness, bro. You could tell the Lynx knew that the Indiana Fever were piping up as far as grabbing some of the best players to make that organization run like a well-oiled machine, man.
Last season's WNBA All-Star Game? Photos surfaced of Bonner and Caitlin Clark locked in deep, focused conversations. These weren't just casual chats or friendly exchanges between competitors, these were the kind of talks that signal something big is in the works. While everyone assumed Minnesota was leading the race for Bonner, she was already laying the foundation for a future with Clark in Indiana.
Game. Now there's certain pictures coming around, floating around online of Caitlin Clark and DeWanna Bonner at the All-Star game, chopping it up, kind of insinuating, not saying that this facts, that this whole situation kind of could have been in the works already.
This wasn't some last-minute change of heart, it was a carefully orchestrated move months in the making. Bonner let Minnesota think they had the upper hand, but in reality, she had already bought into Indiana's vision long before free agency even began. While Reeve and the Lynx were busy plotting their championship run, Bonner was quietly aligning herself with the Fever's long-term plan.
Most of the teams do realize that is about to happen, so they are strengthening up their roster. And that move right there would have been crazy, fam. That would have been a crazy move. Having Alyssa Thomas and DeWanna Bonner on the Lynx, that would have been unfair because then you have Fee and then you have McBride. Oh my goodness.
And let's not forget about Phoenix. They really thought they had this in the bag. The Mercury made what they believed was the ultimate power move by trading for Alyssa Thomas, Bonner's fiancée. Their front office was probably celebrating, convinced that Bonner wouldn't say no after they literally brought in her partner. But then reality hit. Not only did Bonner turn them down, she didn't even seem tempted. Phoenix's big plan flopped completely, leaving them scrambling to figure out how they miscalculated so badly.
From the jump, I felt like Alyssa Thomas and DeWanna Bonner was going to be that other couple that always stayed together. But, DeWanna Bonner pulled a rabbit out of the hat on me, man, and said, hey, I'm going Indiana.
Minnesota, on the other hand, had every reason to believe they were the ideal destination. They had a winning history, a seasoned coach in Cheryl Reeve, and a talented roster built to compete right away. On paper, it was the perfect landing spot for a 37-year-old veteran chasing one last championship before retirement. But Bonner saw things differently, something that both Minnesota and Phoenix somehow overlooked.
But Phoenix also heavily courted Bonner, league sources said, yet the desire to win immediately, among other factors, led Bonner to the Indiana.
Official statement after signing with Indiana, Bonner didn't talk about joining an already dominant team. Instead, she highlighted her excitement about being part of a rising organization committed to growing women's basketball. That wasn't just PR talk, that was a veteran who knows real potential when she sees it. While others viewed Indiana as a rebuilding project, Bonner saw an opportunity to create something special. And now, she's ready to make it happen.
Now, I wonder what the other factors were. I mean, going to the Lynx is definitely a win right now situation. It's mainly the other factors that made her go.
The Indiana Fever just went from an afterthought to the hottest team in the WNBA. DeWanna Bonner's decision wasn't just another free agent signing, it was a statement. She didn't take the easy route to chase a ring, she chose to help rebuild a struggling franchise into a true contender. And if you ask her, that journey to greatness starts now.
I think maybe Bonner is going towards popularity. Maybe she grow that popularity and then after the season is over with or when she retires, she can start her own podcast and have people check in with her. I don't know. I'm just giving out hypotheticals.
Here's the most telling part of Bonner's decision. She didn't just say she wanted to help Indiana compete. She made it clear she wants to bring them back to championship form. This wasn't about joining an already established contender like Minnesota or Phoenix. It was about building something from the ground up, leaving a lasting legacy by turning a forgotten team into a powerhouse. With this move, she's essentially saying, I want to play in front of sold-out crowds. I want to ignite excitement. I want this team to be the one everyone's talking about,
Basically saying, I want to play in front of sold-out crowds. I want to get that popularity popping. I want people to sell out my jersey. So, hey, I feel it, man. What a business decision. And then also you have a competitive team that could actually go to the finals this year. So that's just a win-on-win situation. I knew Alyssa Thomas wasn't going to ever think about going to the Indiana Fever the way she was talking about the fan base at the end of the season. But yeah, man, DeWanna Bonner, man, said, look, forget what you're talking about. I'm about to take my talents to Indiana. I don't care how you feel about the organization.
Indiana isn't just another rebuilding team. They've got something special brewing with Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston. The Fever now have one of the most dangerous young duos in basketball, two generational talents whose skills perfectly complement each other. They have the potential to dominate the WNBA for the next decade. Bonner saw that. She recognized that teaming up with Clark and Boston now puts her in the perfect position to ride a wave that's only just beginning to build.
this happen. I believe the Indiana Fever are going to be one of the best run and gun teams you've ever seen in the WNBA. And that goes back to me saying that Caitlin Clark is still going to average 20 points, I feel, and be able to get those assists. I feel like the Fever have a great chance of averaging between 90 to 100 points a game, bro. I'm not going to lie. And Caitlin is still going to be Caitlin. She's going to be more efficient on the shooting, seeing how she's been working out.
Indiana Fever star DeWanna Bonner turned down 2 elite teams in free agency for a powerful season. Because I'm telling you right now, bro, no disrespect to the Mercury or the Lynx, but I don't see them going all the way.